lecture on technical textiles 2. In our previous lecture, we have started the ballistic protection. We have discussed about introduction to the ballistic protection and the mechanisms that are involved in the ballistic protection. In today's lecture, we will be moving on to the next topic in the ballistic protection, that is the materials used in the ballistic protection. So what are the materials used for the ballistic clothing? The materials used are fibers and fabrics that are used. What are the fibers and fabrics that are used? We will be discussing on it. So if you observe this flowchart, you can see the fibers used are aromatic polyamide, UHMWP, which is the ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, then polypara phenyl benzobisoxazole, which is the PBO, then nylon 66, then M5 and carbon nanotubes. We will be discussing about each and every fiber, and then there are various types of fabrics also that are used in the ballistic protection. What are the types of fabrics? Like unidirectional, 2D woven and 3D woven. And in 2D woven, you can see the fabrics used are plain and basket type of a view, which we will be discussing. And in 3D woven also, if you see this, you can see that the angle interlock, warp interlock and orthogonal fabrics are used for ballistic clothing. So first we will discuss about the fibers. When coming down to the fibers, the first fiber is the aromatic polyamide. From the name itself, you can understand aromatic polyamide means aramid fiber. These are the widely used fiber in the development of lightweight, soft body armor owing to their high performance to weight ratio. So from the name itself, aramid means aromatic polyamide, where more than 85% of the amide groups are connected with the benzene rings. So here, if you see the structure, you can see the aromaticity here, how the amide groups are connected by the benzene rings. So here it has a high orientation. The molecules are highly oriented with strong intermolecular hydrogen bonding, and it offers a high level of crystallization resulting in high modulus and high tenacity. So during the manufacturing process of this fiber, a pleated structure is formed before the coagulation, so that before the core of the fiber gets formed, the surface becomes a pleated form. This pleated form actually provides some elasticity to the fiber, so that it can be an advantage for this ballistic protection. And there are various types of Kevlar fibers. Starting from 1960s, the Kevlar fiber came into being. There are various advancements that took place. For example, Kevlar 29 is one of the fiber which came in 1970s. It is used in lightweight flexible body armor engineering, and Kevlar 129 came in 1988. It offers the increased ballistic protection capable of high energy impact. And Kevlar correctional is another advancement which came before 20 years back. It is around 1995 it came, and it offers the puncture resistant technology to both the law enforcement and correctional officers. And Kevlar Protera is the another development in 1996. It is a lightweight, more flexible and greater ballistic protection it provides. And another type of an aramid Kevlar is the Twaron. It is another para-aramid fiber, which is a Kevlar fiber. It is developed by AkzoNobel. It is popularly used in the modern ballistic body armors. Here the difference is, here the Twaron yarn, it uses 1000 or more finely spun single filaments. It uses a microfilaments, so that this acts as an energy sponge, absorbing a bullet's impact and quickly dissipating the energy. This absorption and dissipating the energy is a requirement in the ballistic clothing. So that is done because of the presence of the large number of small microfilaments, single microfilaments. So another advantage is, this microfilament is 23% lighter than a vest made up of a standard aramid yarn. So you can see how the weight reduction take place with the advancements, so that material is also weight is also less, and also it gives the effective ballistic protection. So the material Twaron CT filament is a lighter, softer and more flexible, and offers more freedom of movement and comfort, which is a very advantageous. Another fiber that we are going to discuss is UHMWPE. Hope you may be knowing this, ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. It is actually based on gel spun technology. It came in 1980s. Here, a loosely uncoiled network of crosslinks, when they are dissolved in a solvent, they were made into a highly oriented crystalline fiber. Here, this fiber has a very high polymer chain length, so the strength comes from the length of the individual molecules. But whereas if you see the aramid, there the strength is due to the intermolecular hydrogen bonding, but here the strength is due to the length of the individual molecules, and it is 10 times as strong as steel and are lighter than water. So that is also a very advantageous. The weight reduction, you can see the progress, when the progress in the technology takes place, when the improvement in the number of fibers, the weight reduces. So for this ballistic protection, this UHMWPE is used in the form of unidirectional fabrics such as Spectra Shield, Dyneema. These are the trade names. How the unidirectional fibers are made, unidirectional fiber fabrics are made. Here the fabrics are actually it is a composite where the fabrics are laid in a particular orientation of say 0 to 90-degree fashion, and they are bonded by the thermoplastic matrix. We will be discussing about these unidirectional fabrics in the forthcoming slides. Next fiber is the PBO, which is the polyparaphenylene benzobisoxazole. It is developed by Dow Chemicals and Toyobo. It is commercial under the trade name Xylon. There are two types of Xylon fibers. One is the Aspen, which is abbreviated as AS, and HM is the high modulus. And this material offers very good ballistic protection. So it is very lighter, more comfortable and stronger than the aramid body armor. Here one disadvantage is also there with this fiber. It is actually when it is immersed in water or any kind of a moisture, if it is interacts with this fiber, the mechanical properties of the fibers get affected. So in that case, moisture proof technology should be used for this kind of a fibers. Next is the nylon 66 fiber, which is a very basic important polyamide fiber which have been used in the ballistic protection since the inception. So before the development of aramid fibers, these fibers were only used for the ballistic protection. So these fibers are mainly made up of the methylene and amide groups. You can see the amide linkages here. So these fibers have a high crystallinity of say around 50% crystallinity is there in this fiber, and you can see when during in the reversal also the packing geometry of the fiber also is a good packed structure. Normally it looks like a zigzag type of a configuration in the structural terms if you observe the nylon 66 fibers, and it has a very strong intermolecular hydrogen bonding, and because of this intermolecular hydrogen bonding, this fiber has a high rupture strain and a low elongation at break, which is a very much required for the ballistic fabrics. Next fiber is the M5. This is the polyhydroquinone diimidazopyridine. This is a high strength synthetic fiber and it offers a weight reduction of 40 to 60% in comparison with the Kevlar at the same level of protection. Here the weight reduction is drastic, but this has many disadvantages like it affects the mechanical properties when after exposure to UV light, and when elevated moisture it is exposed to, it will affect the mechanical properties also. Similar to the PBO fibers, it has some disadvantages. So in that case, these materials are not as regarded suitably for the ballistic protection. Next is the carbon nanotubes. Carbon nanotubes are the allotropes of carbon with cylindrical nanostructures. These are the nanotechnology based developments. This is the new generation type of a material. They have the Young's modulus of 270 to 950 gigapascal and a tensile strength of 11 to 63 gigapascal with a density of 1.3 to 1.4 grams per centimeter cube. Here they have the outstanding mechanical property which originates from the covalent bonding between the adjacent carbon atoms, so which enables the material to be used for the fabrication of next generation of body armors. So this, if you observe this diagram, this is the normal carbon nanotube. When it is hit with the projectile, so that when the projectile is hit, it undergoes a deformation. The fiber undergoes a deformation here. So here, because of this structure, this carbon nanotube structure, This gives very high maximum energy absorption, which is one of the important requirement in the ballistic clothing. So these fibers absorb more energy and dissipate the energy also, so that this can be used as a very effective ballistic clothing. These fibers can be used. So now we'll move on to the next topic in this lecture, that is the ballistic fabrics. So fabric structure is one of the important category, one of the important thing, and it plays a decisive role to absorb and dissipate the energy of the coming projectile. So if you observe this diagram, in the ballistic impact, the fabric also helps in deforming the projectile, mushrooming the taper tip to prevent penetration into the structure. Here you can see when it before it is hitting, and once it hits, this deformation take place and generation of strain waves around the fabric surface, and you can see how the strain waves get spread over the entire fabric. This means that energy is spread out throughout the fabric surface, and this fabric also does not allow the projectile to completely penetrate inside, only partially it allows to penetrate. And also the projectile tip actually gets it changes the shape into a form of a mushrooming, so that it could resist, the fabric could resist the projectile in that sense. So you can observe how in this diagram how at every stage before the projectile is hitting, and once it starts and till it penetrates partially, you can see how the strain waves take place and how the mushrooming take place. You can observe here, this is the deformation of a bullet during the ballistic impact. Among the fabrics that are used in the ballistic clothing, this woven and unidirectional fabrics are the two of the most important type of fabrics that are used to stop the projectile. Another materials like felt or knitted clothings are not that much used, because felt is effective in capturing only the low speed fragments by having some of the fibers pre-aligned along the projectile trajectory. So felt is not that kind of a material, recommended material for ballistic clothing. It could stop only the low speed fragments. The use of knitted fabric is fairly limited owing to the low tensile modulus. So woven and unidirectional fabrics are the most used fabric structures to stop the projectile. First we will discuss the woven fabrics. It is the most commonly used fabric structure in the engineering of soft body armor. So how it stops the projectile? Because the structure is compact. You can see when you see the woven fabric structure, when any kind of a bullet or a projectile, when it strikes the textile material with woven fabric material, the woven fabrics, it forms a network of fiber or yarns, so that it maximizes the number of crossover points. You can observe this word here. The crossover point is one of the important thing. Because of the presence of this crossover of the warp and weft yarns, this enables the fibers or yarns to be stretched, so that transmitting the projectile's kinetic energy to the fabric, so that the energy will get absorbed completely and it will be spread throughout the fabric structure because of the presence of yarn crossover points. Now we are going to discuss about various parameters that are a part of woven fabrics. What are those parameters, and what is its importance in giving the ballistic protection that we will be discussing. First is the weave structure. Weave structure means, importantly, we will be discussing on three types of a structure. One is the unidirectional structure, which I have shown you at the starting of the slide. One second, we will go here and see. You can see the fabrics like UD, 2D woven and 3D woven. These are the type of a weave structures that we are going to discuss. So among the 2D structures, plain and basket weave is the commonly used structure for the ballistic protection. And among 3D structures, there are various structures like angle interlock, warp interlock, and orthogonal type of a weave also can be used. And coming down to the discussion on fabric parameters that influence the ballistic protection, first we will see the cover factor. Hope you all may be knowing what is meant by cover factor. It is the area occupied, the number of warp and weft area that is occupied by the fabric. Number of warp and weft, when it is completely more, if it is occupying, then we can say it is the cover factor is high. So cover factor should be in the range of 0.6 to 0.95. This is the based on some experimental results, these values were given. So the cover factor should not be low or it should not be too high also. If it is low, what will happen? The fabric will become too low so that projectile will penetrate inside the fabric. But when the cover factors are extremely high, say for example, if it is more than 0.95, in that case what will happen? The yarn properties will degrade in the process of weaving, so that the material will degrade. When any projectile is hit, it will damage the material. So it should not be too high and it should not be too low. It should be in between the 0.6 to 0.95. Next important parameter is the yarn twist. So here, with the increase in the twist angle of a yarn, the breaking elongation also increases. And with the increase in the twist angle, modulus of the fabric will get reduced. So for an ideal ballistic protection, we do not want the breaking elongation to increase. The breaking elongation has to be reduced. So that breaking elongation has to be reduced and modulus should be higher. The modulus should not decrease in the sense. So that the yarn twist actually should be kept low. So in order to keep the yarn twist low, we are actually we should keep the yarn twist angle to be less than 5 degrees. It should be low. Otherwise what will happen? It will reduce the modulus and it will increase the breaking elongation. Next is the yarn crimp. Yarn crimp is the undulation of the yarns caused by the yarn interlacing, which is the waviness. Hope you may be knowing what is a crimp. So here we do not want the yarn crimp in the ballistic protection, because increase in the crimp decreases the crimp resistance. For example, if you have a fabric where it contains some crimped yarns in either in the warp or in the weft, what will happen? When the projectile strikes the fabric, this will undergo, the crimped yarns will undergo decrimping process. So when it undergoes the decrimping process, what will happen? The projectile will hit the fabric in a high speed so that the fabric will get failed. So because of that, what will happen? Because of this decrimping process, it slows down the wave propagation. So because of the slowing down of the wave propagation, because of the crimped structure, that is the zigzag structure, so that what will happen? It cannot propagate the wave, which is one of the important requirement in order to absorb and dissipate the energy. So that what will happen? The crimp, the ballistic resistance protection will go away. So increase in the crimp increases the transverse wave deflection and it increases the blunt trauma. This blunt trauma is one of the problem which we will be discussing in the next lecture in detail. This blunt trauma happens when the person wearing a ballistic clothing, he will undergo when it is hit by the projectile, in the internal organs there will be an injury. So that is the blunt trauma, and it will happen when the fabric is made up of fabric contains the crimped yarns. So crimp is not a desirable feature for the ballistic protection. Next is the friction. It is a very important parameter in the fabric. So it plays an important role in the ballistic protection. So what will happen when you increase the friction or decrease the friction? So friction should be higher. So increase in the friction, what will happen? More yarns will take part in the failure mechanism. So when you make a fabric structure that with the increased friction, what will happen when the projectile is hit? It will actually make the secondary yarns also to participate in the resistance mechanism, in resisting the projectile. So that what will happen? It will increase the yarn pull out. Yarn will get pulled out because of the friction. So that what will happen? It will increase the energy absorption. So because of the increase in the energy absorption, it will actually it becomes a very good thing for ballistic protection. So the mu value, normally the friction is expressed in mu. Here the mu value should be 0.2. the value should not be too low here also and too high also. If it is too low, in that case the projectile will easily penetrate inside the textile material. But if the value is very high, that is also a problem. It will lead to the local concentration, so that yarn will break before the energy absorption take place. You can see this diagram here. This is a research, based on a research study. This is a normal plain weave fabric. Both are plain weave structures. In this structure, actually, a lino warp yarn is introduced in between, and here also uh, double weft insertion is introduced. The structure is modified, and because of modification of this structure, it could actually provide more gripping to the fabric, so that it offers more friction and provide good ballistic protection. Next, we will move on to the next type of a fabric, which is the unidirectional fabric. Unidirectional fabric, from the name itself you can understand, it is only one direction, which is the unidirectional. So it is based on the idea of combining the cross-plied filaments with the elastomeric matrix in a laminated system. Just you are aligning the cross-plied filaments in a particular arrangement, and you are using an elastomeric matrix to make a laminated structure. So here the advantage is, this unidirectional fabrics does not contain the crimp, which is normally observed in the woven fabric. Here, because of the absence of crimp, what will happen is the fibers will react more swiftly with the laminate stiffness coupled with the fiber stiffness, so that the energy absorption will be much greater when compared to the woven structure. So which is very advantageous. So a 100% unidirectional fabric panel will absorb 12.5 to 16.5 more energy than the 100% woven fabric panel. So you can see how advantageous it is to use the unidirectional fabrics. You can see a small diagram here. This is the style. You can see here there are four types of fabric layers, and it is at the top and at the extreme bottom you can see there are films. This is nothing but the matrices, so that these 4 plus 2, around 6 layers are there totally, so that these are bonded to make a unidirectional fabric panel, like a laminated structure. This is how it looks like. These unidirectional structures look like. So that for the ballistic protection in the fabrics, these woven and unidirectional structures are the recommended type of a fabric structures to be used. So on the when we come to the end of we are come to the end of the lecture. So summarily you can see there are number of fibers are there, and fabric structures we have seen, and parameters we have discussed in detail about each and every parameter and its influence. In fabrics you can see there are various parameters like friction, which is one of the important parameter, and crimp should be lower, friction should be higher, and yarn twist should be lower, cover factor should be higher. Like that we have seen about each and every parameter. And among the woven fabrics, these plain weave and basket weave are the recommended type of a weave structures to be used in the ballistic protection, so that gives a more compact structure, and more importantly it has the yarn crossover points. That is an important requirement to confer the ballistic protection. And we have seen about the unidirectional fabric just now, how it is effective because of the absence of crimp, and how it gives the of the energy absorption, how much percentage we have seen, around 12.5 to 16.5 percentage increase in the ballistic protection. And in fibers we have seen about number of fibers like aromatic polyamide, which is the commonly used fiber to be in the ballistic protection. And we have seen about the other fibers also, like UHMWPE and PBO, M5, and carbon nanotubes also. So we have now come to the end of the lecture. I will stop here. We will be continuing in the next lecture about the topic on evaluation of protective clothing, that is the ballistic protective clothing, in the next lecture. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening. Have a nice day.